If you're trying to study everything for the AP Bio exam right now, that's actually the problem. Because the AP Bio exam doesn't test everything. And if you study like it does, that's going to waste your time. Hi, I'm Miss Parrott, and in this video, we're going to study what the test is actually going to ask you and how to prepare for that. So every year, students come out having spent hours and hours studying every content piece in the entire AP Bio exam and description. And they come out wondering, did I study the wrong thing? And teachers, they wonder, did I teach the wrong thing? The answer is no. No, you did not. But you might be thinking about the exam the wrong way. The AP Bio exam isn't asking you to memorize every fact in the content section of the course exam and description. The AP Bio exam is actually testing, can you think like a biologist? Let's get into this video and break it all down for you. So the exam is built to test how you think. Can you use science skills and processes to think like a scientist? It takes the big ideas and the science practices. And you can kind of think of it like a triangle. So you have skills, that's your science practices, building and reading graphs, understanding data, all this sort of thing. So we have our skills and then our content. This is like our factual information, like how does cellular respiration work and all those processes that you learned. It takes those and combines them and asks you 60 multiple choice application questions and 6 FRQs that ask you to apply what you know with the skills that you've built. So the reason some topics don't show up on the AP exam is there is limited time. 90 minutes for the multiple choice and 90 minutes for the free response. Sometimes concepts will overlap, like genetics and evolution, or evolution and ecology. And what's the most important is that skills, those science practices, matter more than the facts or formulas. So being able to explain, predict, justify, those are all the most important things that you need to be able to do. Concept is more, understanding a concept is more important than being able to do the calculation. So think of like osmosis, right? For years and years, I taught the water potential equation, and it just never showed up on the AP exam. And as a teacher, that was really frustrating. So one year I didn't teach, I taught osmosis and the concept, but of course then that's the year where they actually are going to ask a calculation question on water potential. So you never know. The concepts and the skills will all be assessed, but not all in the same way. So for instance, in my example of water potential, they didn't do it in a calculation, but they are going to test your understanding of the concept of water potential, perhaps through a scenario, a diagram or series of diagrams, a graph or a data table. And you're going to have to analyze these and compare and get your final answer. Now, they may give you a calculation. So do you still have to know how to do them all? Yes. But what's more important is that you understand not just how to calculate water potential, but if water potential is this in one place and this in another place, where will the water move? That's the important part. You've got to have a growth mindset as you go into studying and preparing for the AP exam. Remember, we start with know, that's all of our content. Can do, that means that we can answer questions, familiar questions and familiar scenarios on our own or with a little support. But fluency is what you've got to have going into the AP exam to be able to really like score a 4 or a 5. So remember, fluency is when you can answer questions accurately, efficiently, confidently, and under time pressure. And not just any question, not just factual questions, but those application questions. If you're not fluent yet, if you that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're not ready. It just means that you're on your way. Okay? It's totally normal to be frustrated. Students get frustrated when the AP exam doesn't ask everything that it required them to know. And teachers get frustrated about that too, because they spent all kinds of time and effort making a cool lab or some neat activity to help you learn a topic, and then it doesn't even get tested. So your teachers are right there with you. It's okay to be frustrated, but the key to moving from one level to the next, especially getting here to fluency, is AP style practice. That is the key. Now, what does AP style practice really look like compared to just studying? Well, passive studying is what a lot of students do, and it's completely ineffective and a waste of time. So things that can be considered passive studying would be just rereading your notes. That might be a fine step one, but you can't stay there. Memorizing terms. That's just vocabulary. If you keep practicing the same practice set over and over until you've basically memorized all the answers, that's not really helpful. Also, checking your answers after you've done some practice and just being like, oh, I was right, or oh, I was wrong, and moving on, that's not actually helpful. Also, if you are doing easy questions where the actual sentence fragment in the question is less than a sentence long, that's not AP style practice. I don't know a single AP style question where the question itself is less than a sentence long. They always give you a long question. So what AP style practice looks like is, let's start with rereading our notes. Again, not a bad place to start. But then you want to explain aloud why these processes that you're reteaching yourself, why they work the way they do, or maybe what happens if something goes wrong. You want to apply what you know to new data. You want to be practicing new and unseen questions. And I know that sometimes it's hard to find questions, so I'm working hard to build practice sets right now that would be available in my TPT store. But the more practice questions you can do, the better. And then justify your answers. So it's totally good to do practice sets and then check your answers. But when you've checked it and you see that you're right, justify using data why that right answer is right. Or if you're wrong, take some time to diagnose that mistake, figure out where the gap was, and then go in and fill in that either knowledge or skills gap that you found. And you should be practicing using questions that are challenging to you. It's just like weightlifting or something, right? You're not gonna be getting mega stronger if you're like using 1 pound weights, right? You're gonna get stronger if you're lifting heavier weight. So challenging questions, like you'll see on the actual AP exam, are the kinds of questions you want to be using to stretch yourself. Because right now is practice time. So no one's judging you. No one is like telling you that you're not smart unless you're telling that to yourself, in which case, please stop. If you are trying to challenge yourself, you are smart. You're doing the right thing. So the key is to don't get down on yourself. Keep practicing the hard stuff. When you are preparing, you're not trying, and you're studying, you're not trying to guess the test, okay? What you're doing is you are training for any version of the test. So you want to think, for every like topic or skill, could I answer a question like this about, let's say, osmosis again, if it gave me data, if I had to do a calculation, if I had to read a graph, what are the different kinds of graphs that I could probably expect to see with, like based on my labs that have to do with osmosis. If I'm given a scenario or pictures of cells, what are, like, where is water going to move? What happens if something changes or goes wrong? What would happen? So you're training yourself for every question type about that topic, not just all the vocabulary words about that topic. That's not going to help you. So remember, time studying, so just because you spend a lot of time doing those passive things from the last slide, that does not mean that you're exam ready. You're going to be exam ready when you can approach the test confidently, accurately, and efficiently under time pressure. If you're not ready yet, that's okay. Practice is the key. AP style practice, like we just showed you, is the key. If you found this video helpful, please do give it a like. Subscribe to my channel for more AP Bio exam skills videos. I have like 20 on my channel already, and there's more coming between now and the actual exam. If you have questions about the AP exam or any AP Bio content, please leave a comment, a question, or an emoji down below. And if you're a teacher or a student looking for more AP style practice, check out my Teachers Pay Teachers store, Know and Grow with Gnomes. I have lots of AP style practice there available for you. Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you next time.